Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, cheek artist. I'm gonna cover up my cheek. This is what I would call my bad side, and it's just because I have the most discoloration over here, but I wanted to show you a way of getting longevity out of your blush on your cheek while also maybe covering. The method I use to cover my stuff is also an incredible method for longevity in your makeup, longevity in your blushes, because a lot of the people I talk to, they say, I feel like my blushes are wearing down. Okay, let's work on that. And let's think about what I use with my correcting also works to help as a great base primer for blushes and holding your makeup in place. And it's just density. I use Aspen, I use Suede, and they are dense. But guess what else is dense? My contour. So this is my palette. This is my everyday palette. All my stuff is in here for my face. Let's just focus on the cheek. So I use Cedar Contour. It is actually right here. I'm gonna use a powder brush. What brush you use truly doesn't matter. I've done everything except this cheek, and we're gonna go into the contour because again, it's about the density. I'm gonna add a little bit. I'm gonna put this on like a blush because I want my blush to stay still. But coincidentally, Cedar, and talk to me about this. It just depends on what your cheek looks like. It's a cheek by cheek basis. But I'm gonna take my contour and I'm gonna put it on like a blush, okay? So I'm just taking that Cedar, bringing it up the temple and down, okay? This is where I put my blush. I want the longevity, okay? I've smiled, I see where my cheek is, and it gives me a certain amount of coverage, but I'm putting on a very fine amount because again, all of our makeup, all of these colors are foundation. They're 80% pigmentation. We don't need a lot. And again, whatever brush you want to use, I like using the denser brushes. So you can use the blush and bronzer brush, you can use the powder brush, you can use the 3D brush, you can use the detail brush for this, and you can even use the buff brush. Again, what brush you use, it really doesn't matter. As I just feel like the blend brush maybe wouldn't be your best option. I like the density of getting this into my skin really well when I'm doing this method. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my main highlight, which right now is Hazel with a tap of mango. And I'm just gonna balance my skin down here. I'm gonna come up and over my scarring. Now, if you don't have scarring, you skip this part. It goes into the crease of the nose and around the mouth. And I'm just balancing this, bringing it down my jawline to my neck for balance. Your makeup should never just stop right here. You've got all this, okay? We gotta make all that cohesive. Even though it's sweater weather, take colors into account. If you're gonna be wearing a collared shirt, maybe don't bring it down so far. If you're gonna be wearing a coat and it rubs at your neck, maybe don't come down so low, but just act accordingly. It's makeup. You typically know what you're wearing when you do your makeup. Okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to start my blush. That's it. I just balanced my skin out. I'm gonna add, actually, I said blush. I'm gonna add a touch of contour. So I'm going back into that Cedar contour and I'm just gonna define my cheek. I just like adding that little bit of lift. So I'm just adding a touch more contour to my contour line just above that natural shadow. I underblend it so it should look a little undone. I'm gonna grab a little bit of Frenchie. I always put Frenchie on the apple of my cheek because I have stuff. If you don't have stuff, you don't need to do that. Frenchie is just one of those things. I love it. I love it for my under eyes. I love it for my blush. And I love it for my lips. I've got it on my lips right now and on my under eyes as a corrector. It's a great tool. If you know, you know. I talk about it all the darn time. Then I'm going to go into Rosewood. It's my favorite fall blush. And I'm going to go right at the top of my cheekbone here at the high point. I'm 43. And most women, as they're maturing, lose volume in their apples, starting high and bringing it down into that Frenchie a little bit, or just bring it down if you didn't do the Frenchie part, and just bring it up. And adding this layer on top of that contour that I laid down first is gonna hold it in place. The punchier the blush, the better it's. I like using a punchy blush because if you're worried about it wearing down and not seeing it, your color just might need to get a little punchy. So if you're doing Hollywood or Madrid or Frenchie or any of those lighter blush colors, maybe you need to go up a shade. So instead of Hollywood, maybe try Pink Grapefruit. Instead of Madrid, maybe try Rosewood, and just adding a little bit of punchiness to your blush so you can see it, but having that base of that density is key. I'm gonna take my setting spray. I'm using Benefit, the Professional Super Setter. I love saying super. I don't know what it is. Super setter. I just love it. It's the silliness in me. I don't know. find joy in tiny things like super setter. Okay, I'm gonna spray this on, and I'm just gonna get my face good and damp. Then I can go in and I'm going to set my face with powder because I am oily. And I always start on the outside of my face and then I work in because I have large pores, I have puffiness under my eyes, and I don't want to make it crepey, so I always bring the powder in from the outside of my face. And then I set it and forget it. But that's how I get longevity out of my blush. And after you add the powder, if you feel like that blended it down too much, just add a little bit more. It's okay to build. And the nice thing about using creams like Saint is while you're able to build, you can tap and blend it down too. It's very forgiving and easy, so you can go too far and blend it down, or you can be too light and blend it up. So how often do you have a makeup that can go both ways? So that's it. That's how I get longevity out of my cheeks. I don't typically, when I'm making a quick bag to go somewhere, I don't usually have to touch up my makeup. I keep a little triangle poof. I don't even keep powder with me anymore. My makeup and my skincare and all the things work really well together that I keep a poof just to reset, and I'm not using my hands because we all know we touch things throughout the day. So I grab one of those little poofs. You can get one of the blotting papers and reset with those, but I don't actually need more makeup. I just sometimes need to clean up my oiliness. But that's how I get the longevity. This has helped me immensely. And I thought if it works with my correctors, maybe we could just do this with our contours as just a little prep. It's an extra step with the product you already have. So that's it. Have a great day.